Hi again. This video, and hopefully series of videos, is going to be about starting from nothing and scripting a game in Tabletop Simulator. I am not the best scripter, so also this video is going to be helping me remember what I've done, why I've done it, and going forward, maybe what I plan to do. So I'm working on Overboss myself. The first thing you'll want to do when you're thinking about making a mod is finding one. And Overboss has a mod already, a scripted mod, but I wanted to add to it. So Overboss scripted should be the one that I forget the guy's name made, and this is out on the Steam Workshop, and it kind of works. I don't mean to be rude. There's an error in his starting script with the terrain cards. It doesn't take into account how many players. It's just laid out here for 5, which is the max. So I want to add some scripting that will detect how many players are playing, whether or not you want to play the short version of the game or the longer version, which is indicated by the back of these tiles. So with the longer version, you'll use the 4x4 instead of the 3x4. So, to get started, you will either need to find someone who's uploaded just a blank mod with the assets scanned in, or you may need to, purchase the game and scan the assets yourself. It depends what's out there. Lucky for me, this one is out there with all the assets scanned and organized and stuff. The people that have worked on this so far have done a really nice job. I just want to, like I said, add some more robustness to it. And I've already done some work, and then I thought maybe I should record this. So I've also started this once before and abandoned the project, so that's why there's 2 Overboss folders. One of the first things I wanted to do, let's see, this looks like the earliest save I have, was fixing these snap points. So in Tabletop Simulator, on the left side here, you've got the menu. If you click this bottom one, it gets you to the snap points. Click on the magnifying glass or that one, the rotate snaps, and you'll be able to see everything on the table. The issue with this one, I'll demonstrate, so keep your eye on this board. Let me grab the mover. I know I can do these with the F keys, I'm just not muscle memoried for it. So I moved the board up here, but the snap points you see didn't come with it, which is a problem. Because he probably placed them without locking the object. To remove the snap points, you just need to click each one. And I've already gone through and done this with later iterations of this, but just to show you. And then I want to add my own. So I've had better success placing this thing up on the table lip, because sometimes when I placed it on the table, I felt like the snap point tool was still hitting the table instead of the card. So I've placed it there. You need to lock it. You can just push L on your keyboard to do that. I'm sure somewhere in here. Okay, toggles lock. So now your players can't move this map. And then I went through, and there's probably a simpler way, but I meticulously placed these, and I use the rotate snaps. I use those because they're neat. They force things in a direction for you. So this one we'll see is facing straight up. This one's facing straight to the right, and we'll do one down. Down. Damn it. Down. All right. So there's 3. And then the way this game works is you place these tiles on those squares. So I'll just spin some of these. So this one's upside down. If we place it on the square where we had the up arrow, or the arrow pointing up, it automatically snaps it to the upwards direction. That one, I forget which way I set these. So that one goes to the right, and that one goes down. And I went through and tried to get these edges, or I tried to get it as flush with the borders as I could. These ones, just throwing it down pretty quickly, are not too bad. That one could go to the right a little bit more, and this one could go up and a little bit to the left. There's a way to do this with looping and math. I didn't want to figure it out. It was just 9 points. I need to do the bottom 3, but I have not done that yet. So the benefit of that, though, is now I'm going to unlock this object, and I'll show you the points again. So we have 3 snap points here. I'm going to move this object. The points should follow it. Turn back on the snap points, and they have. The other nice thing is now those are always going to be there, always in the same place. So if I made a copy of this, I didn't want to copy. Control C, Control V. And then we look at the points, the exact same points, exact same positions are there. And that's going to be handy because what you want to do is pull these out of a bag or some other spawning mechanic. And every single one that you pull out will be the same. So I've done that. Let me load a later save to get to current. Overboss 2. This is my most recent one. It's not anything super exciting. So I have done the points on, this is the mat I've done it. I think there's still one sitting over here. I need to do the bottom points for the reverse side. So I will, when I do it, I'll flip this mat. I'll show you. I'll flip this, and then I'll go to the rotational snaps. I'll zoom in here, and then I'll just click to remove and click to place. Oh, see, I've already done a mistake though. So what you should do first is lock it, otherwise it won't do what you want. So I've lost that position, but let's say it was there. If I flip the orientation of this board, those should, I won't have to spin these all at the end. Let's demonstrate that. Unlock, Q or E to spin it. Spin my camera. That should be the side with, yeah, that's the bottom. Rotational, oh, see, it's easy to mess up. Lock, oh, hold on, F1 lock. I don't know what you are to get to the rotates. Okay. So then, yeah, I would just come in here, click, click, and it's already pointing up. To save you, from spinning these manually, you just click these arrows, though, if that's what you need to do. So that's what I did with those boards. And then I've got sitting over here, I've got my editor. I'm actually checking out VS Code. I just threw a video up about Pulsar, and I got some feedback that I should check out VS Code. There's a supported plugin for Tabletop Simulator in VS Code, so I am trying this out to see if I like it better. So this is not Pulsar, this is VS Code, but it functions very, very similarly. You can't quite see that because I don't have it set up just, oh no, I guess you can. I just expanded out the Explorer, so these are all the files that it's aware of. Let's see, where should we start? So, where should we start? Let's see. So this function was just a test. So we don't need to look at that. That was just testing my button. So let me just demonstrate, I suppose, what I wanted, the functionality that I built in. So I've only programmed the positions for blue and white. So let me change my seat color to blue. So I have this infinite bag, which probably won't live here, but it's going to spawn an unlimited amount of these tiles that I've done the points on in the right places, in the right orientation. So most people will just sink those into the table, like just in the table, and you can still spawn from the bag as long as you have the GUID. So what my code is going to do here is after everyone is seated, I'm in the blue spot, you hit deal, and right now I'm only spawning the small tiles because I haven't finished with the larger ones, but it shouldn't be hard to shoehorn what I need to do the large tiles. So my code saw that I was the blue player. Down here I've figured out the positions for white and blue, and it throws a tile down in front of me, locks it, because you don't need your players in this game to move this tile. It also added these tags because I was just playing around. They're not necessary. Those aren't actually even tags either. It's the name and the description. I'm sorry. Tags are important, and I'll utilize those later on. But that was mostly just for fun and for testing. So if I were to change my seat color to white, and then I do a Control Alt S on this, that's a save and load. My seat color stays the same. If I hit this button now, it'll throw my tile here and orient it the proper way. I also want this button to go away after the tiles are dealt. So I guess I'll step through some of the code. First thing you're going to want to do, like I said, is get a bag or something to spawn or pull your tokens out of. So I used an infinite bag, which is up here in objects. Just type in bag, and I used one of these infinite bags. Drag one out, and it will spawn an infinite amount of whatever you put in it the first time. So this bag does nothing, but if I put a dice in there, now it has unlimited dice. And what you'll use that for is currency in games, energy tokens, things like that. This could have been a finite bag with 5 in there, but it doesn't really matter. So you make a bag, put the item you want to pull out of the bag. The very next thing you need to do almost anything in Tabletop Simulator is you need to be able to reference your items. The GUID is often what you'll want. The GUID of my bag here is 5A042E. And if you click it, it'll copy it. So right here, I throw that in there. Then I'm gonna run this here, this get object from GUID, and I pass it this. And here I'm calling my get seated players function, which I don't even, where did I do this? It's not doing anything because I commented it out. I think that was a test. I don't recall. Like I said, this one's going to be a bit of a mess because I didn't think about doing this until I was this far along. So I'll get rid of that. So this again lets me mess with the bag. Down here, we are building a table. What this piece of code does is it's finding how many people are seated and what colors they are. So in Lua, the brackets indicate a table. And what we're doing is looping through this table. The way that this table board is set up, change the color. You can either be green, red, white, blue, or orange, which is why I selected green, red, white, blue, and orange as the colors there. And then we are passing them positional vectors and rotational values. I'll show you how I came up with these two numbers here. And the rotation, that was just guesswork. It should be some iteration of 90 degrees, positive or negative. I threw this in here as a reminder for myself because I had to read up on player. So again, this is a table. It's going to look at player colors here, and it's going to go through the color, which is on the side, and the data over here. It doesn't really need to go through the data, but I'm just looping through the both of them. We're going to set a temporary value of player, and this capital P player is you, the player. And we're going to grab that player and the color. So currently, me, I'm at white. So it would grab everything that Tabletop can pull about me sitting here at white. It has. So this, we're going to step down here. This if statement. If player means if there is a player at white or red or orange, because we're checking the color here. And we've set it to player. So if there is a player and that color is seeded, then seeded players is equal to the color. I'm doing a terrible job at explaining this, but I am going to upload it anyway. I need practice. I need practice rubber ducking things. Right here, we're going to look and see if there is no seeded players. We're going to loop through this again. We're going to loop through this table that we built. So this is building a table of all the seeded players and their colors. So now this could be 1 to 5 entries. We are going to take we're going to instantiate this tile variable, and we're going to take a play mat from it, and we are going to position it in here. So this position is going to be set here, which I guess I do need to run through my data. That's what I'm doing with it in this loop. So I'm pulling the position and the rotation here. I set the lock, which means it locks it automatically. This was just for fun, so I can grab the player's Steam name, which I do, and it just throws it in this data here. So it grabs for the name field, it puts that, and the description, it uses the color of that player. I will almost certainly change that later. But that's what that's doing. I was messing with the tags, which can and will be very powerful. Right now I'm not tagging anything, but I will later. That's going to help with scoring. Oh, I'm doing this set lock twice. I don't need this. All right. And then if there was nobody seated at the table, none of this is going to trigger, and it's just going to say, go away. So that's a very bad walkthrough of my code so far. To figure out these positions, there's a bunch of different objects that you can just find on the workshop. One that's good that I've used is the info cube by Mr. Stump. There's also the checker, the position checker. You can just make this. Oh, I've lost it. Oh, there it is. If we fight with it, and I go into the scripting of the position checker, I'll put this code in the description, but if you wanted to make your own position checker, copy paste this, spawn in a checker, or anything. It doesn't have to be a checker. I don't know, a pawn. And let me copy this code. It works better on a checker because both sides are flat. Here's my pawn. Throw the code in. Save. Oh, I'm dumb. I didn't save the scene. Let's do it once more. Sorry about that. Scripting editor. And we want this pawn now. Save. And then he doesn't have it yet. It might be the button. See, the button's probably somewhere in there. Let's do it with a checker. Do it with a black checker. Maybe I do have to save load. All right. Sorry, doing this on the fly, and when I'm not the best. I'll just call this save number 7, save 7, load. And then do a Control-Alt-S, save and load. I still don't have it. Did it not save? I didn't save my checker data. Try once more. Okay, there. So now what this has done is placed this button on the checker, and when you click it in the chat, it's going to throw out XYZ coordinates for you. So what you do, or what I did, was just threw this somewhere about there, hit the button, and this is the red color. So back in my global red, I need to say X is negative 30 something, 35.412. Y was 0.749. These are, I'll just do the same as these because it should be the same Y as they're in a line. 751. And the Z 14, negative 14.268. And that I do want is 180. Control save, Control S, Alt Control S will save and load. I need to get rid of this, but if I deal myself now in the red seat, I should get a tile there. And it's just a little too far at the edge, so we'll fix that. Let me do Control Alt S again. And we'll use the checker. So if we go a little bit higher, you see the Z value changes up a bit, so we can try it. Well, all the values change, but it's the Z that I need to manipulate. We'll try, I'm just going to guess at it. Let's use 13. Oh, what's happened? I don't know. 13. Or what was I at? Yeah, let's try 13 point. The same. And deal. And that's pretty close. We can try it at 12. Twelve's not bad. So I've got a little bit of a lip here, and that's just for aesthetics. It's not going to matter, honestly, if that tile was in the table or not. So again, with the position checker, I'll put the code that you need in the description. And then the only other thing that I have so far, I guess, is my button. And for that, I use the button visualizer. I'll put a link for that in the description as well. But this thing is super cool. So you drag one in, and depending on what you want the button on, let's do a pawn again. Let's see if we can get it to work. You need to get the GUID, and you need to put it here, and then we put it here, and then we edit, and that's going to visualize your button for you. So it's got this ipso facto button, but you can change the text here to anything you want else. You can change your increment of your X, Y, and Z positions. Right now it's on 0.1. So we click the button and it is just going to move it for us. What a lot of people do with buttons is slap them on a checker or on a pawn, but this button is actually on the table. So if I reset this, oh, I need to spawn another one in. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's a bunch of ways to get the table GUID, but my example here is easy because it's in the name of this file. So the GUID of my table is 0B2ED0. So if we type that in and then edit the object, we're editing the table. And oh, my deal button is still there. But if I change it, let's add another button. The ipso facto. I think so if you do the table, it does tend to start your button down here in no man's land. When you're trying to find it, you can scale them up by a good amount just to figure out where in the world they are. So it's a little easier to find. And then you'll just go through the same process. But when you're all done, you want to export your data. And then you are going to copy, you copy the description. And then, I guess you can't right click, Control C. And then you jump over to your text editor and global. You would build out this information. So if I just paste it in, oh, that's ugly. But it would work. That's fine. We'll leave it as data. So then if I go here and do table, because we're referencing the table, create button data, and I save that, and then I refresh that. It's mad because I'm not doing a function. What if I change this to onClick? It's still mad. What's your problem? Oh. No, that's on load. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Oops. It's mad about bracket spacing, it looks like. But this doesn't have an end. And no. This ends there. Okay. There we go. Sorry. So it was mad because I had this nested in this bracket. So this should work now. Okay, and yeah. There. That's what, I'm not sure what onClick does. It was a test function. No, it's getting the seated players. So there's one person seated and I'm sitting at red. So that's it. Kind of a mess, kind of all over the place. Just kind of an idea I had at the last minute. Not even the last minute, just at the beginning of my process here. I think if I make these videos, it'll help motivate me to get this done and not abandon it like I did last time. If for no other reason than just personal fulfillment of getting something out there, like a series completely done on YouTube. If you have any questions or you want me to explain something better, because I know it was fairly poor the entire time, just leave a comment. I'll do what I can to answer your questions. I am quite a novice at this myself, so I'm still learning, and this may allow other people to stumble upon my content and help me do things differently, better, or maybe, you know, give some other people ideas about how to do things. But that's where I'm at with this so far. The next pieces I want to get done are to find these two positions, and then I need to also script a setup, which is selecting all tiles that you're going to use for your game. All of this is going to need tagged as well. I'm going to use a loop to automatically set the tags, which will save me a ton of time. Yeah, that's where we're at with that one. So I guess I'll end it here. Like I said, any questions, throw them down below. Any criticism, throw it down below. I'm sure there'll be some negative stuff. That's okay. I am learning and I am new. I welcome it. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.